$160 billion. That was the devastation caused by Hurricane Harvey all across Houston and Texas. Of course, folks are still trying to recover from the devastation that took place here in the area. The amount of rain that dropped on this city, again, changed lives in a major way. So the question is, how is the city rebuilding from these efforts? Let's talk about it right now with Gerald Womack, President and CEO of Womack Development and Investment Realtors. Also, of course, you just saw her on our panel, Algenita Davis. Of course, she, works at Texas Southern University, but before that, also working in the housing area. So, Gerald, I'll start with you. I mean, first of all, before I even get to that, so earlier, I mean, in the last hour on Friday, Trump spoke in Florida, where he said that black home ownership is at an all-time high. We have the National Association of Real Estate Brokers who said that's just a flat-out lie. It was 49.2% in 2004, down to 42%. I mean, look, you're in that area, so when you hear the president throwing that kind of stuff out, saying it's at an all-time high, is he high? What numbers is he looking at?
Well, I think it goes back to his fake news that he talks about all the time as it relates to African American and housing. I agree with my national association. I think one of the things when you talk about eliminating the Dodd-Frank bill, I think that it hits home for our affordable housing buyers, and particularly in African American neighborhoods that would have an opportunity to purchase. One of the most exciting things about that is that during our recovery here in Houston of buyers being able to purchase homes, the most attractive part was the fact that there were dollars available for first-time buyers. There were programs that was available for first-time buyers. And in this Trump new change of things, in particular relating to Dodd-Frank, this is about eliminating all of these programs. And when you say in Houston, after this flood, this is going to be the time that's most critical that we have programs, we have jobs, we create home ownership, and that we have an opportunity to expand construction, real estate services, just really all over the city.
It's the first time home buyers who really need that support to actually get into the home. It's those federal dollars that come in the form of down payment assistance that allows them to become homeowners. That is the only way in the African American community and the low income community that we can accumulate wealth. And what we saw in running Houston Habitat for 7 years is that we relied upon that down payment assistance that came through the city from HUD to actually get our folks into home ownership, and that's key.
Are you still seeing here, or actually I'll ask it this way, what role is FEMA still playing? Are you seeing the federal resources going to where folks most need it and trying to recover? Because recovery from a hurricane, the water may go away, but people are still impacted. I mean, I know of individuals. I mean, first of all, I was talking to someone this weekend where a guy had his house foreclosed on, but he was down. The problem was the house didn't get flooded, but his business was impacted.
Absolutely.
And so as a result, he couldn't pay his mortgage, so he loses his home. And so there are repercussions to the hurricane.
Well, first of all, he should he should reach out to his mortgage company or his congressperson, because that
house is gone.
Well, but there was a memorandum of stopping foreclosures because Houston and Harris County in Texas was a disaster.
But here's what happened. He reached out to them for the property taxes. So the property taxes were rolled into it, and so all of a sudden, major loss of income, and now all of a sudden he's stuck. And so what I'm saying is, what people don't realize, after a hurricane, it's not just, oh, I need a place to live. If my business is impacted, but I still might be renting a particular place for my business, and so that thing hurts you in so many different ways.
And what we're seeing with Houston Business Development Inc. is that 50% of the businesses that were impacted, their income was impacted because of the flood, will close permanently. And we have seen it here, we've seen it with African American business, because of the change in income, the people being able to come to their restaurants, being able to come to their businesses.
Right.
So we saw that happen. And then if they survive, out of the 50% that survive, 50% of those businesses within the year will ultimately have to close because the income is just, it's not coming in and the recovery is slow. And even though there is governmental assistance that will come to individuals and come to businesses, that takes time. And if you read the Chronicle yesterday, they're talking about the tremendous delay that it takes in getting those resources to individuals who really need them.
Well, the other thing I think that is so important is that we as business people, in particular African-American business people, are going to be looking toward the Section 3 of the Community Development Block Grant Program and to our city leaders to ensure that if we have large contractors that come into this Houston community, that they partnership with African-American businesses. I believe the other thing that is going to be important is that it is all about transparency. I'm encouraging business people, those of us, you know, we get together for social events, we go to church all together, but we have to be about building capacity, where African Americans, where we as black people can get together, pull our resources together, and be able to apply and go out after these federal dollars.
Well, and again, the capacity point is what's important. I'll talk about that next with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, because I tell people all the time, it's great for us to say we need more black-owned businesses. But if you have your black-owned businesses now doing an average of $78,000, if you have majority of your black-owned businesses, not even majority, only 100,000 have more than one employee, and so here all of a sudden, if you talk about 2.6 million black-owned businesses, 2.5 million only have one employee. It's capacity, the ability to be able to grow, to be able to hire more people and service more people, and yes, build wealth.
Well, the other thing that I think at Houston it is so important for us is that we want to make sure that our city leaders, including Congresswoman Lee and our mayor and all of our city leaders here, including our county officials, that they are demanding and making sure that there's some oversight of these larger disaster companies that are coming into Houston that want to do business, that they are partnered up with these small business, African-American business, to ensure that they are going through some type of training, that they have an access, and as well as that we're looking to our banking community, because you could say, oh, I got capacity, I want to build my business, but unless you have that access to capital, and if you don't have those businesses, those banks in those neighborhoods who understand the sensitivity of an African-American business and the fact that we're trying to grow this wealth, it still would not work. So.
All right, then. I got to go to a break. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.